Iran is increasingly portrayed as closely tracking every move in the region, while the United States struggles to see the full picture, suggesting a growing intelligence gap that favors Tehran in the evolving confrontation. Analysts warn that key questions remain unanswered about what Iran is really hiding in the northwest, particularly in Kurdish areas and mountainous zones, with US and allied agencies still lacking a complete understanding of the full scale of IRGC activity there. Statements by IRGC commanders have hinted that they could turn parts of the region into a mass graveyard, implying that forces, missiles, and drones already positioned near the Kurdistan frontier could be used to deliver devastating strikes if conflict escalates. Reporting from opposition groups and regional monitors suggests that something big is hidden across Kurdish areas and borderlands, from underground missile cities to covert bases and tunnels, and that only Tehran fully grasps how and when these assets might be used. Amid its war with America, Iran has repeatedly projected confidence in its superiority across the region, with senior commanders and officials insisting that Tehran can outmaneuver and outlast any external military pressure. Iranian officials have declared that the country enjoys total intelligence superiority in the northwest, claiming that their surveillance and human networks give them a complete picture of hostile movements and plots in border areas. IRGC Ground Force Commander Mohammad Karami personally visited units in northwestern Iran, inspecting frontline formations and reinforcing the message that the troops stationed there are fully prepared for any contingency. During his visit, Karami said that forces in the area are ready to confront any enemy miscalculation or terrorist activity, warning that any attempted infiltration or attack would be met with a rapid and decisive response. He singled out the Hamzeh Syed al-Shohada base for praise, highlighting its years of experience in defending Iran's borders and fighting insurgent and separatist groups along the Kurdish frontier. Karami stressed that the troops under this command combine deep ideological faith with modern technology and scientific know-how, a mix he argued significantly boosts their readiness and effectiveness on the ground. The IRGC commander also warned that they can turn the region into a mass graveyard for hostile elements, signaling that any large-scale incursion or covert campaign would be met with overwhelming firepower and harsh retaliation. Separately, Lawmaker Hassan Ghashghavi echoed these themes, stating that Iran has full intelligence superiority in Kurdistan and that its security and military organs maintain tight oversight over the border areas. He told local media that there are active movements in Kurdistan, including opposition and possibly hostile groups, but insisted they are under close watch and cannot operate freely without being detected by Iranian forces. Reports submitted to the Parliament Security Commission have, according to Iranian officials, enabled numerous preemptive operations, allowing security forces to disrupt plots and hostile activities before they could fully materialize on the ground. Hassan Ghashghavi has claimed that a ground attack from Kurdistan is among the plans being considered by Israel's Mossad and the CIA, framing the Kurdish frontier as a key axis in broader Western and Israeli strategies against Iran. He cited various books and U.S. policy documents which, he argued, openly discuss breaking Iran into smaller regions, portraying these texts as evidence of long-term efforts to weaken the country by encouraging fragmentation. According to his comments, southeastern and northwestern areas of Iran were specifically named as targets for separation, with external actors allegedly hoping that carving off these regions would undermine Tehran's cohesion and strategic depth. The lawmaker stressed that local people in the northwest have not cooperated with separatist groups, insisting that Kurdish and other communities along the border have largely rejected calls to support armed opposition movements. He argued that national unity and social cohesion inside Iran have helped defeat enemy plots on the ground, making it difficult for foreign-backed groups to gain a foothold or turn local grievances into organized insurgency. In recent years, Iranian forces have repeatedly struck terror and opposition groups operating near its western and northwestern borders, launching missile and drone attacks against bases and camps in nearby Iraqi territory. Tehran also signed a security pact with Baghdad aimed at pushing PJAK and other armed Kurdish groups away from the border, obliging Iraq to relocate and disarm factions that had previously staged operations close to Iranian soil. Iranian forces have used missiles and drones against PJAK hideouts in Iraqi Kurdistan, demonstrating a willingness to conduct cross-border strikes when they believe militants are preparing attacks or refusing to move under the terms of the agreement. Reports from early in the U.S.-Israeli war said Washington had equipped Kurdish terrorist groups for insurgency inside Iran, suggesting that external powers sought to open an additional front through proxy forces along the frontier. Later statements from Iranian officials claimed these groups failed to advance inside Iran despite foreign support, arguing that strong security measures and lack of local backing prevented an internal front from fully emerging. Amid this confrontation, Iran said U.S. forces have already reshuffled bases across the region after coming under Iranian missile strikes, adjusting their posture to reduce vulnerability while still trying to project power. Senior figure Mohsen Rezaei warned that any U.S. aircraft carrier or warship attempting to force a new route through regional waters will be targeted, signaling that Tehran sees naval maneuvers as potential triggers for direct confrontation.
The wave-like attacks became more precise and intense. Missiles and drones were launched toward the U.S. base to such an extent that Kuwait was turned into ruins. Most forces have been displaced from there. In Erbil, more than 40 to 50 B-52 aircraft had arrived, and many forces were moved out of Erbil. More importantly, the CENTCOM command, which was in Qatar, first moved to Jordan. We also hit Jordan severely, so the commander moved from Jordan to Israel. What does this mean? It means that the apparatus for an imminent battle is being set up so that when they come to the Strait of Hormuz, they can command and provide support from nearby, both command and support for targeting operations in the Strait of Hormuz. Now there is no ceasefire, but our attacks have meaning. For example, we will by no means allow a second corridor to open in the Strait of Hormuz. Even if they bring an aircraft carrier, we will hit the carrier. If they bring military forces, we will hit them. For now, we threaten the ships not to go. Fortunately, many ships listen to our threats and turn back, and we do not engage. But some, who are clearly under complete pressure from the Americans, come. Well, they sustain some damage, and then they turn back themselves. I heard that yesterday, apparently, Mr. Trump said, we had an operation larger than World War II. His reference is to the very thing I am talking about. Yes, you're dreaming, Mr. Trump. You were in a dream and a fantasy. But why wasn't it implemented? Why didn't your people set foot on the ground? No, I cannot say it has been completely ruled out. But firstly, it has become very weak and the probability has decreased. Secondly, even if it is carried out, it will be limited, for example, in the form of a raid. Forcing Ukraine to launch a ship attack, they also got in touch saying that no, this was a mistake. We made a mistake. Well, we are currently investigating because we are prepared to strike 3 points in Ukraine. However, after they said it was a mistake, since we are not truly seeking to expand the war and we do not want to incite warmongering. Trump's third war was because they said, we will open the Strait of Hormuz, go in and seize Iran's oil and gas, KAG, and so on. In northern Iran, we deploy air defense. There are only a few bridges and roads leading from north to south, most of which pass through highlands. Therefore, we take Iran's oil and gas, and the management of the Strait of Hormuz falls into our hands, removing it from Iran's control. Now, would the world tolerate this? Would even the Europeans tolerate the global economy's choke point being in America's hands? Would China tolerate it? This itself could have been a catalyst for World War III.